And welcome to the Lizzie Show. I'm so happy you can be here today. And we're going to start with a very, very good question. Have you ever wondered why you are the way that you are? My friends, one of the most enduring topics that psychology wants to explore is nature versus nurture. Nature, nurture. Which one really impacts who you are? First, let's define nature. Very simple, my friends. Nature is basically your genetics, your biology, what you are born with. You're born with it. That's it. There's no turning back. Once that sperm hits the cell, your genetics and your biology has been set. That is nature. Natural. That's who you are. Your eye color, your hair color, the way you're built, perhaps even personality traits. That's right, my friends. Hence the argument. Nature versus nurture. Now let's get into nurture. Being nurtured by your environment, by the people around you, your culture, the way you were brought up, the people around you. So now we don't just have nature, which is your genetics and your biology that you were born with. Also, we have to take into account the nurturing part. How do we nurture who you already are? Because I hate to disappoint you. None of us are born a blank slate. You are not blank. When you were born, you already come into this world with a set way of behaving. How do I know this? Well, they've done numerous studies on twins. But by the way, it's very disturbing because they did a study on adopted twins without them knowing. And the other twin was always very, very depressed its whole life until eventually it found out it had a twin. Isn't that awful? These two brothers, born in 1963 in New York, had no idea that they had a twin until they were 35 years old. And the mother who brought the son up said, yeah, I always knew Doug. He was always sad. He always felt like something was missing. Oh, yeah, something was missing. The sibling that he was born with, that he was in the womb with for 9 months. Can you imagine being that close to someone for 9 months in the womb and then they're just gone? Same thing happened to another lady. I won't tell you the story. It's very sad, but she always felt something was missing and she was always very depressed, very sad. They did this study and then check this out. There was no evidence of the study. They were like, so the parents that adopted the twins were very upset because they said, we even wanted twins. You didn't even give us twins. You just gave us this one son or this one daughter. I'm telling you, a lot of bad things going on out there. Not right. But what I'm saying is that twins, even when they're separated and they're brought up in a different environment, they get married at the same time. They marry the same type of woman. They have the same amount of kids, the same year. They have the same habits. Like these brothers, these New York brothers, they both didn't like condiments. What are condiments? Your ketchup, your mustard, your salsa. Both of them never met. Both don't like condiments. That's one little thing that you could say nature versus nurture. That's nature. Instinctively, they were born with genetics and biology that made them not like condiments. And take a breath in and take a breath out. Because realistically, my opinion is this. You are your genetics. You are your biology. But if you have not heard this word before, there's a thing called epigenetics. So you have DNA and it is either awakened or it works based on outside stimuli. So you could have two people with the exact copy of DNA. One of them might get sick, one of them might not. Because epigenetics is that our DNA is turned on by outside events. There's your culture. There's your nurture. So, two people, identical, live in different parts of the world, different experiences. Does that change them? So, they might still have the same habits. They might do the same cute little routine, like leave their wife love notes all over the house. How cute. They both do the same thing. How do they know? They never met each other. But instinctively, we are the way we are, but then we react to the world around us. Because based on where you're born, you can only react to it, but you're going to react to it based on your genetics and your biology. Like me, I'm sure when I meet people that are from where I grew up and have the same background, we all kind of have the same energy, the same kind of way of reacting, the same kind of personality a little bit. Why? Biology and genetics, right? So your genetics and your biology and how you're nurtured both affect how you are. But nobody comes into this world without information already helping them to become who they are. You are who you are based on the imprint of DNA, but it is influenced by what you experience. Because you have two children born in the same house, the same parents, brought up the same time, completely different personalities. They see the world different, they act different, they are different. Even twins who have the same DNA. One might get cancer, one might not. One might be gay, one might not. One might be really happy, one might not. Right? And that's true because there are twins where one gets cancer and one doesn't because there's a thing called epigenetics. Our DNA turns things on based on what happens to us outside, the nature. Remember, what is nature? It's our culture. It's the people around us. It's even the food we eat. That's right. Surprise, surprise. My mother wasn't tall. 5'5". Why am I 6 foot? She fed me really, really well. And supposedly, this is what the facts say. This is what the statistics say. That if you eat a certain kind of nourishment, it will affect how tall you are. Which a lot of times, a lot of grandparents, parents, they're not so tall. But then here we are, we grow up giants because we had our milk, we had our eggs, we had our cheese, we had our organic fruits and vegetables. And we just kept growing. I mean, I was taller than my mother when I was like 8 years old. And she said if only she was tall enough, she would take her hand and grab me by the hair and pull me down. Because, I was a lot to deal with as a kid, But she was a good mother. She dealt with me well. So, as you've been waiting for, here are the results. Why are you the way you are? You are the way you are because not only do you have genetics and biology, you also have one more thing, my friends. You have a spirit. You have a soul. You have an essence. So on top of having biology and genetics, you also have something that is beyond this realm. An essence, a spirit that vibrates at a frequency that is so strong and so amazing that when you came into this world, you knew that you were going to choose what situations to be born into because you wanted to be stronger, smarter, learn more, be more, and maybe struggle a little bit so that you could attain enlightenment. It's like this. I think of it like this. If all you ever did was walk on a flat surface, how are you ever going to build muscle in your leg? But now let's say all you do is walk uphill. Now your legs are so strong, walking on a flat surface is boring. Same thing with life. If your whole life is a flat surface, you're never going to develop any kind of strength. So if your life is going uphill, now you have so much strength. An easy life would be boring. You like that? Do you like that analogy? So you're not just your genetics, you're not just your biology, you're not just your eye color and your hair color. You are also your spirit. And let's not forget that we as human beings, nature is very important because it affects how we think. We are influenced by what we hear over and over again. That's why all you need is a good jingle. You hear it 2 times and you believe it, right? You hear it once, you hear it twice. Oh, I believe it. That's right. They know throughout times how to manipulate people and the masses through what they hear repetitively and what they see. And now we live in an era where people see and hear more than ever through these screens. So it's easier to manipulate if you're not an independent thinker, if you don't sit and think before you watch or while you're watching, think. So as a human species, it depends. Where are you born? When are you born? What are the people like in the place that you were born? Were you born with parents? Were you born without parents? Were you born with good parents? Were you born with abusive parents? All these things are going to affect your biology and your genetics. But guess what? Most of the time when people are born into bad situations, more times than not, they come out of it. Guess what? The toxic cycle does not keep going. That's right. I read that in a book, Jordan Peterson. Remember that book, Jordan Peterson? 12 Rules for Life? That was a good point that he made, that for all the suffering that young people experience, they grow up and they don't repeat it. If they had suffering as a child, they're usually the best parents, right? So there you go. It's not all doom and gloom. Things get better because you have a spirit that is strong. So you are your biology, you are your genetics, you are your essence, you are your spirit, you are your soul. But you now have to react to, again, where you live, where you've been brought up, the things that have been told to you. Don't forget, you have traditions like no one else has. You have beliefs like no one else has. You have parents like no one else has. Wait a minute. You have siblings that no one else has. Perhaps you have step siblings. Maybe they were good for you. Maybe they weren't good for you. It's not just that you are who you are because you were born with genetics and biology, a spirit and a soul. It's also all the things that you had to react to in your life. You are a reactive creature to your life. You had no control. Did you? Did you have control where you were going to be born, to who you were going to be born to, and what time you were going to be born into? My friends, I ask you, if you could have chosen who your parents were, where you were going to be born, who you were going to be born to, your height, your weight, your looks, would you? Would you? Maybe we have. I don't know. These are deeper questions, but I will tell you this. When it comes to why you are the way you are, it's more than just nature and it's more than just nurture. It's also your spirit and your soul. You like that? You're not a blank slate. When you were born, the story was halfway already told because you were already predispositioned to have certain traits. They've done studies without permission on twins. So they found this out. Yeah, a lot of things done without permission. So when you go through life and you wonder sometimes, why am I the way I am? There's a lot of different reasons, but it's not just what you experience in life. It's also what you're born with. You're born with a blueprint, a DNA blueprint that can either be turned on or off based on epigenetics. Then you say to yourself, oh, but Liz, why am I so angry? Why am I so sad? Why do I have to control myself in certain situations? It's genetic, my friend. I'm sure there were times your ancestors really had to keep it together. That's where the anger comes from. comes from sadness. But first we get angry, then we get sad. Then we find a way to work through the sadness to become better, stronger people. Anger. We all get angry, sad. We all experience sadness. Happiness, joy. What a wonderful emotion. It comes and it goes. Now, there are some people, I meet them all the time. They seem so happy and so joyful. And I look at them and I say, have you always been this way? And they go, yes, I was born this way. So there you go. You were born this way. But you know what? You can't tell me that the things you experience don't affect you. So that's the nature. The nature is all the things that affect you. And the nurture, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Am I saying it wrong? Wait a minute. I said it wrong. It's because the words are too similar. Nature versus nurture. So remember, you're like the things that, let's say you're a genius. You're a genius, right? But you're born into a toxic situation. Maybe you're born to two parents who can't do anything for you. But you're a genius. Maybe it takes more to bring that genius out because you were born in a bad situation, right? Versus you're a genius. You were just born with this 200 IQ, but you had parents that loved you, supported you, noticed that you were a genius, and maybe it was easier for you to blossom into your genius potential. So it's also about what situation you're born into. And bravo to you if you survived being born into a challenging situation, because not everybody is born into an easy situation. But perhaps you chose this life because you're a spiritual being and you want to become stronger. That's one theory. Nature, again, is what we're born with. Nurture is what happens to us without our control. It's like people who are born into World War II era, or World War I. I mean, they're different. They have a different mentality than people who are born in the year 2000, right? I mean, it really depends on, let's say people who are born in Russia with Stalin. You're going to tell me they're not different? So beyond the fact of their biology and their genetics, what they experienced, actually, their offspring experienced too. So things that you experience are actually passed through you in your DNA. So experiences pass through you. Very complex who we are. So, do you know who you are? Do you ever wonder why you are the way you are? Sometimes I wonder. No, I do wonder. But I already know. I already know why I am the way I am. How about you? Do you know why you are the way you are? That's my video for today. And actually, before I let you go, I want to do something different. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess different. I would like to do a segment where I do good news every day. Now, I know no one cares about good news. Nobody wants good news. Nobody's interested in good news. It doesn't really capture anyone's attention. But perhaps for a small amount of people, it'll put them in a good mood. Because all there ever is bad news. Bad. And I try not to watch it, but it's there. And you're like, oh, I want to see what happened. Oh, I want to see what happened. Oh, I want to see what happened. So maybe I can do a mix, like I could start one week, I could get a professional mic, I could set it up nice, I can make it look like, it's CBS News, you know what I'm saying? Like, here, Lizzie, and do good news every single day. Monday news, Tuesday news, Wednesday news, Thursday news, Friday news. And if it doesn't do well, I'll drop it. But I could always try it, right? Why not? Why not? It's so hot in this car. I'm hot. You want to see my notes? Are you ready for how professional I am? Look at this. Yeah. Who am I? I'm a person who misses the Comedy Cellar. I could have been somebody. I'm somebody in the middle of nowhere, forgotten about. I'm just kidding. All right, it's too hot in this car. I gotta go now. I hope you like this video, and I will see you for good news soon. Maybe next week I'll start that. We'll see. I need to get a mic. Oh, that's my other question for you. If you made it this far, should I get a mic? A real mic, like a stand-up mic, or like a mic where you put like here a clip on? So a clip-on mic, or like a mic. And should I set it up with a desk? Like have a desk, have like comedy Lizzie in the background. Like should I set it up nice? Is it worth it? Should I do it? Should I take it up a little notch? A little notch. Okay. You all have a fantastic day. Goodbye.